You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, sir.
We have Tamika Mallory.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Mysonne.
My people.
What's going on?
Happy born day to Mysonne, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're just in here having conversation because we're so used to that now.
Yes.
We all talking about Tamika being honored at the Ween Awards coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Whenever your own people honor you, that feels good. So
Absolutely.
And alongside Lala and some other really incredible people, so I'm excited.
Lala, Yvonne Orgy.
Yep.
Somebody else, but I can't. Yvonne, I'm sorry.
Yvonne, yeah.
Somebody else, I can't remember though.
So who else is it? Somebody else, but it's some great people. But look, the bottom line is Felicia Butterfield Jones and a crew of great people, Chrissy Henderson and Sabrina, and all of them have Lauren Lake. They have kept it going for a while. Ween is doing well. A lot of young people. Y'all have interns all the time here that come out of Ween.
I actually do a lot of stuff with Ween. I always teach classes there every year when they do their events, and I've been to the Ween Awards, giving awards. Yeah. You know, I love the Ween Awards, and I love Felicia. I think it's great what they've been doing for so long.
That's got to feel good, though, because what you do is thankless work.
Sometimes. I mean, you know what? More people love you than not, and that's what you got to focus on, because you can get into the echo chamber of people who are like telling you ain't SHIT, but you know, we can't focus on that. So, but yes, it is thankless at times, and whenever your friends acknowledge your work, it feels good, because sometimes our own people take for granted, like, you know, I love you, but nah, I need you to. I don't always want to be in the audience. Yeah, you know.
And my son, I saw you just got an award too.
Yeah, I just got honored at
the Black Institute.
The Black Institute.
Mysonne never forgot.
I forgot, but it was amazing. It was amazing. The award was probably, it looked like a Grammy, like it was one of the best awards I ever seen. And they honored, like you said, thankless work. It's really thankless, because when you find your passion, you never do a day's work. So just building in the community and being honored for what you bring to the community. It was definitely a beautiful day for me.
Now, what's the fight today? You know, because when you walked up, I said,
He said, what's the fight today?
No, that's why.
It's the same fight.
It's the same fight. It's a different round. It's a different round.
The reason I say that is, I knew you were coming up. I said, well, what is Tamika coming up here for today? Are we doing Starbucks? Are we doing Waffle House? There's
my
so
God,
much.
it's so much, but it's all the
Where we at
same.
today? What's the plan
We
now?
definitely on Waffle House. I had to give Starbucks a shout out, because they definitely came to the table, and we had some issues with their training process, and they made changes around that. So, you know, you got to give them a little bit of credit where that's due.
They gave the brothers some money. They rewarded the brothers.
They gave the brothers some money. They did all of that. So that's good. Doesn't mean that they're completely off the hook, because the proof is always in the pudding. Their training is coming up where they're going to shut down their stores. But you really can't.
We can go to the bathroom in there now. Everybody, whether you buy it or not.
But you really can't, like, retrain or train racist mentality. It doesn't really work like that. You have to punish it, because then people know, like, you can be as racist as you want, but you can't bring it to work.
Right.
So they did, they fired the employee. So some things have happened. We'll see about Starbucks. Waffle House is off the chain.
Okay.
They are not.
Well, before we go to Waffle House, right? With Starbucks, I thought it was in the manual or something like that. If somebody was there for a long time and not ordering, you can ask them to leave. Was that true?
Yeah, I think that, they did. I mean, like most businesses, you don't want people just hanging out and not, like, ordering something.
Right. Loitering.
But, loitering, pretty much. And I get that. But, these two gentlemen, they just got there. They just sat down. They didn't even have a chance. They were waiting for someone else to join them. And what we know is it doesn't happen to other people.
Right.
Because
Starbucks is known as being a place
where
you
spot.
can go wait for somebody
and use the free
sit down
Wi-Fi
and do some work. And we always have meetings at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And I've never seen them kick somebody out.
Exactly. Erica Ford, who y'all know so well, she swears by Starbucks. She has all her meetings at Starbucks in Southeast Queens. So, it doesn't happen to other people. And the white folks that were in there, the ones videoing, they like, what? I didn't even order anything yet. Or, I've been here many times and it didn't happen to me. So we just notice a disparity, and it can't be tolerated.
So we can drink Starbucks again?
I haven't had it, because it's, me, I'd be like holding out until the last, But I think folks are kind of up in Starbucks again. Yeah.
Now, Waffle House.
Oh, man. The Waffle House is a total different situation. First of all, they have right-wing politics. So I think, and I haven't seen this research, but I've heard from folks that they donated a bunch of money to Trump and the whole thing. So they're over there. And they are showing it in how they're responding to this young lady, particularly Shakisha Clemens. There's another gentleman, Anthony Walls, who we'll talk about as well. That's the latest incident was assaulted. Exactly. But Shakisha, for me, is like a real serious case that we need to be paying attention to, because it is very hard to get support for Black women who are abused by police. I don't know what it is about us, but it's just, we don't do it. Same thing with Sandra Bland. It's like uphill battle trying to get people to post and really be concerned about Black women. And what we saw in that video is she was sexually assaulted by police officers. She will tell you herself, I spent time with her, we talk to her every day. They touched her in her private areas, threw her on the nasty ass ground in the Waffle House. Like there's nowhere that's dirtier than the floor at the Waffle House. And she, and they assaulted her. And you see the officer with his hand around her throat while she's on the ground. It's 3 officers. There's no reason for him to be choking her, except the fact that she's asking him, like, why are y'all doing this to me? So all this is on videotape. You would think that the Waffle House as a corporation would come out and say, you know what, whatever happened here, it's not okay. Yes, there was an issue that took place over some plasticware, because she asked for plasticware, and it escalated with bad customer service. Same like my situation in American Airlines. It escalated with another person who was nasty. The person calls the cops. Now, you would think that Waffle House would approach us and say, you know what, cops being called probably wasn't the right thing to do. Even if it was, what happened here is too much, and we stand by this young lady. There are criminal charges pending against her right now.
For what?
For, what is it? Resisting arrest, and it's 3 charges that are pending against her. And Benjamin Crump, who's been an attorney for Mike Brown's family, Trayvon Martin's family, he's also her attorney. And you would think that the Waffle House would join the calls to say to the police, you need to drop the charges. It's a small town. The police chief, the Waffle House owner, all the folks is right there in this little town. You could have those conversations. Nothing. They have doubled down.
Like the police have done the right thing.
Absolutely. They doubled down and said, hey, they start showing people videos like, yeah, you see when she's arguing. When did arguing with somebody turn into me being sexually assaulted, thrown to the ground, and choked? It's too much. And, in my opinion, we as people who are on the outside looking in have to uplift this as being a story, a situation where a Black woman is abused and the system is totally working against her. The fact that victim blaming is like, you now gonna charge me after you assaulted me over some plasticware, that's too much.
You would even think that the Time's Up Me Too movement or those women's rights organizations would get involved with this case.
That's what bothers me too. Like those movements, even Black men. Just when you watch the video from the police's, when they show the video of the camera that the police have inside the thing, there's a Black man standing there. And he doesn't even look outraged. He's not yelling like, what are you doing to her? Stop this. Nobody's stepping in. And I think that's very harm. Like when I first seen this case, I took like a day, and I processed it and I posted, and I was like, you know what? I don't see enough outrage by us about this. Because I know if it was your sister directly or your wife directly or your mother directly, you would lose your mind. But why aren't we as outraged just seeing another Black woman going through this? Why does this not bother us that much? And why is these movements that's supposed to step up for women don't do the same thing for Black women? And, so I was really confused. And I think that we have to start having those conversations. Like Tamika said, it's very hard to get some traction when something happens to a Black woman. Everybody seems to justify it. There's this angry Black woman syndrome that people justify that everything that happens to a Black woman is justified because, well, maybe if she wasn't yelling, or maybe if she wasn't angry, or maybe if she didn't know, because I'm angry or I'm disqualified or, not really happy about what you're giving me, that means that I'm doing something wrong, that I should be harmed, I should be thrown out and treated like trash. Like, I think we got to start retraining that narrative, because even for me, sometimes we do it. For sometimes my sister will get mad about something that I don't feel as mad about. And she'll yell and be like, no, he shouldn't do this. And I'm like, just shut up. And then if somebody says something, I'm like, you see what happened? But I be saying, then when you really think about it, I'm like, but she's right. Maybe she went about it a way I wouldn't have. Maybe her voice is a little louder, but it doesn't justify somebody, harming her and treating her wrong.
That's why I can't watch that video, because I feel like police is just putting us in a situation that you just going against my human nature, man.
Right.
Like, I'm supposed to just sit there and watch you do that to somebody I love.
And
like,
I think that's the point. That's the point about the black man, because I don't want to discredit him, right? We don't know what he's going through.
Right.
But the same issue with the brothers in Starbucks. What concerned me the most is how calm they look being arrested. And they know they're being wrong, but you know that if you make the wrong move, or if your voice gets too loud, they could die. And that is not okay. That they have trained us. They can beat us, and there's mental warfare. So we know better than to step out of line. And there are other people in the Waffle House. If you watch the video, they eating their food, looking on the ground like, oh, okay. Like it's not a big deal. It has to be a big deal. One, that a person is being abused, but especially that a woman's body is exposed and being thrown around the way that what happened to Shakisha.
It's getting to a point now where all these videos is hard to watch.
Word. I didn't watch the 65-year-old grandmother. I can't.
Oh, no,
when
I
they
ain't
dragged
watch
her out of
that.
the car?
I couldn't watch that. I couldn't watch the
didn't watch
football
that.
play. The football play when they choked him up, I had to stop that. It's getting too much, because it's not like it's one-on-one and it's one cop on one guy and you're like, well, I understand it. Well, they just got to get him down. No, it's 4 or 5 cops.
Word.
It's like, come on now. Like this is getting a little disrespectful.
How is that
This is getting crazy.
Why you got 4 guys pulling out a 65-year-old woman for what?
Yeah, because it's just
She just
anything.
wanted to speak to a supervisor. And she just kept saying, I just want to speak to Sue. And the man came over and just started cursing her and then pulled her. Like, the way he pulled that woman, I was like, where's the humanity? Like, we have really traveled far from, they don't see us, these officers, and it's unfortunate that they happen to be white officers every time when it's a person of color. They don't see us as human.
And they're not being held accountable for any of
Exactly.
that
Well, and
action
they're not going to be. So if you have a lot of people who are like, well, why are you targeting the Waffle House when it's just one employee, which we now know it's an issue that's happening across the country, where people calling the police on black folks and brown folks doing, they say nothing, but it is something. Being black, being brown is the something. If you have a dispute
over a check, I should be able to have this dispute.
Right.
And you know what? It's funny because I did post something about that, and somebody got in my comments and left this whole long paragraph, and like the energy is directed in the wrong place. These people at Waffle House are risking their lives. They have a very hard and difficult job where they're open late at night and people are disrespectful, and the energy should be directed toward the police officers who did that, and Waffle House employs a whole lot of black, like this whole long comment
so you have to have
the whole point.
You got to have strategy when you're in movements, and a lot of people don't understand that. Number one, you have a president and an attorney general that will do absolutely nothing for us at this point. There's no one to go to say, look at how the police department is treating us. So the next step is capitalism. You have to shut their money down, because that's the only other thing that they pay attention to. So once Starbucks, Waffle House, all these people, when their pockets are hurting, they begin to apply pressure for you on the government officials to say, yo, we having a problem. The Negroes is outraged, okay, because they're not spending money up in here.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. You have to have different levels, different tactics, different strategies to address these issues. So when people are looking at us like, why are you going after Waffle House? Well, you're not going to get anything from your government. So now you have to put corporate pressure on people so that you get some respect. But nonetheless, again, Waffle House response is not one that deserves us to treat them like they are our partners, like they're our friends. Exactly. They said that what happened there, they're trying to explain it instead of saying, you know what, this situation went out of line. Now we have the case of Anthony Wall, another young man who took his sister to the prom, and he gets into a dispute. The one thing, black people are not allowed to ask for corporate numbers or a supervisor or whatever. As soon as you ask for that, you go into a category of being a threat. You're not allowed to know that your rights are for you to ask for and be upset. Wow, don't be, because I've seen white women going wild. What? Wild. And nobody throws them all around. Look at the white lady who was in the video. She was the Port Authority, the director of Port Authority. Exactly. White lady, Port Authority for New York and New Jersey. She was chastising the police officers, cursing at them. Let me see her breast on the ground.
And they were so calm.
They were still polite to her. She did end up
polite
getting
to her.
fired, but at that time, the police officers were very
But
respectful.
that would have been
But you know
somebody
why?
else. That would have been somebody black.
Because they see their mothers and they see their
Exactly.
sisters.
They humanize them.
Exactly.
They dehumanize us.
Good
and
point, y'all.
And that's what I keep trying to say. They don't see us. That's the only way you could tell me that you can grab a 65-year-old woman with that type of thrust and anger just because she's sitting in a car. Like, you can't see that person as a human. It's like you see a cat or something in the street that they don't humanize. And we have to start having these conversations, because that's where racism is at. Is at the fact that the people who are inflicting racism are not humanizing us as people.
You
we
know
gotta
what?
start
But
protecting ourselves too. And sorry to cut you off. And the reason I say that is because, you know, that man that we seen in Waffle House, we don't know what his thing was. We don't know if he had warrants. We don't know if he just went in and don't know what happened. But we got to start protecting our own. And it's bothering me so much the other day, and this is the reason I did it. Usually I don't think I would have did it. It was a 16, 17-year-old kid driving, and white guy cut him off and hopped out the car. And he could tell that he could use his, I don't want to say power, but he could
privilege.
He could shit on these kids, and these kids was scared. And me and my wife was in the car next to him, and me and my wife jumped out. Was like, "What's up?" And he didn't know if that was my kids or whatever. And him just
You don't
seeing
know
that,
if he and his wife white. He's like, I can't tell.
he knew he wasn't away from the car we was driving. But we hopped out that car, and he just thought that was our kids.
Exactly.
And you know what he did? He jumped back in the car, took off.
Exactly. And that's what I was trying to say.
And that might have stopped the problem, because you never know. He might have pulled out a weapon or did anything, but he didn't know what I had or what my wife had. And I was like, we have to do that more for each other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it's a place that most people, because we've gotten far away from protecting our brother and being our brother and sister's keeper. That's something that we ain't in that, because as long as it's not my situation, I'm not trying to be in it, trying to understand it. Why do I have to donate money to help a victim? Why do I have to show up and be at a march? But we're going to have to start being uncomfortable, because guess what? Shakisha Clemens, Anthony Wall, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, you name the names. These are all people who did not expect to be abused before it happened to them. And you could be the next victim. People be thinking because they changed their zip code or they cleaned up a little bit, they live in big houses like yours, you know, Envy, because I've seen your spot, you live in, all right, but that don't mean nothing, because you could be driving in your community late night and have a George Zimmerman type cat who decides that you ain't supposed to be there. And then what? Then you want the movement to show up for you, but you're not willing to stand up for your brothers and sisters. We got to get out of that mentality, because the moment that they begin to see, and that's the point of like telling people, don't go back in Waffle House. We don't get respect there. We don't need to eat there. When we begin to show them that unity, trust and believe, it don't take long. It's just a little bit of sacrifice for a few moments that will get us a long-term level of respect.
Absolutely.
So that's what the march is for on the 20th?
So on the 20th, we are going to be marching for Shakisha. Yep, that's exactly the point of it, going into this little town in Saraland, Alabama, to let the police department know that having charges against her is just unfathomable.
Right.
I can't understand
That is so
it.
crazy that they could even feel like we're going to go ahead and press charges. At least do the right thing with that.
Good God.
Like, at least, minimally,
Exactly.
to start with.
But that's their way of continuing to make it seem that they're justified. So if they drop the charges, then they're admitting that they're wrong. So they just gonna keep pushing it.
That's the pride. That's the ego.
It's
That's
the ego.
not. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be, we were wrong. Drop the charges immediately.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
figure
And
this other
imagine
stuff
having to
out.
live in that town where something like that happened to you, and having to see these police officers and interact with them and with their colleagues. 'Cause
Yeah.
now they probably really have it in for you.
Yeah, I mean, well, she is she's traumatized,
Right,
man.
that's traumatic.
Her daughter is traumatized. Her daughter is either 6 or 8, and her daughter, people were telling her, "Oh, your mommy died. The police killed your mommy." So that's one issue. And then, she hasn't even been near that Waffle House in a while. She can't go back over there. That's a lot. And she told me she can't even wash her body good enough. Like, again, you think about the Waffle House, and being on the floor is not the place where you want to be. So all of these things, this young lady is traumatized, and we ought to be standing up for her, because, again, could have been me and you. How many times you go to the Waffle House, IHOP or whatever, after hanging out?
I'm from South Carolina. That was the spot.
Hello. My mother's from Alabama. My daddy's from North Carolina. Waffle House is the spot. My son is up in here. He's 19. He's in Georgia at Morehouse. He goes to, that's where they go, the Waffle House. It can happen to any one of us. So we ought to be standing up for this young lady. The 20th Information is on my Instagram, Mysonne's Instagram.
I'm gonna post it right now.
It's going to be on Charlamagne's. You can find out where to be. 2:00, we're gathering in we're gathering actually at 1:00, but marching at 2 in Saraland, Alabama, to stand up for Shakisha Clemens.
Yes, the Saraland City Hall, 943 Saraland Boulevard, South Saraland, Alabama.
Now, what did you think about some of the things that Kanye said, especially him having so much influence on kids and some of the remarks that he made?
Yeah, Kanye is pretty pitiful. I feel sorry for him because I don't know what the issue is. And, I think for those of us who are a little bit deeper into this work and just an understanding of how the system could get you caught up. Like, I don't know what his real reason is why he needs to do what he's doing. But I know he's got more. He has better sense than this. So there's something going on. And I hope that people really get to his friends, try to help him, because this is a sickness. It's not normal what he's doing.
He's coming around. He shouted you out.
Yeah, I saw that.
I made him go do some research.
I saw that, and I appreciate you for that. So hopefully, but hopefully he also, you all as his friends, will get him to sit down with us, because if you Google me right now, I'm like an anti-everything. I'm the worst. You pull me up.
Really?
The beginning of Google is nasty, which is fine. But, to sit down with his brothers and sisters and have some conversations, we can have a difference of opinion. None of us are going to feel tactics need to be the same. None of us are going to understand all these situations the same. But you cannot deny oppression in America. And you certainly can't deny the fact that the stuff that we're dealing with, other people are not going through it. They will tell you themselves that they do not deal with the same issues. I would even veer to say, even the Latino community does not deal with some of the issues. Like, anti-Blackness is a thing by itself that we deal with. And for you, especially someone at his level, to deny that is despicable, really.
My thing is, and it's about the denial, but it's about siding with the oppressor. Like, when your opinion directly impacts my safety and my well-being, then it's not just your opinion no more. If you lend voice to somebody who I know is intentionally trying to harm me and take away my civil liberties, and you just saying it's free thought, at this point, then you become the enemy. You understand? You have sided with the enemy. It's like I'm at war and you stand on their side, say, well, it's just my opinion. Then you stand there.
Right. And
I can't be mad at you if that's your opinion, but now you fighting against, we have two different points of views and we have two different realities. So his reality does not coincide with ours. We on the front line every day fighting for people's rights, fighting against being oppressed. And when you stand with somebody that everybody in the world knows is oppressing us in America, then, I can't give you the benefit of the doubt no more. I can't keep saying, well, that's your opinion, because your opinion is harmful to a lot of us.
I agree.
Now, American Airlines.
American Airlines.
A lot of people think that situation just went away.
Yeah, I know, but they don't know me. They don't know us, because they certainly didn't just go away. I have to say that in the American Airlines situation after Puff, I have to give him all the credit, because Puff was like hard body. Like, what happened to us was wrong. Threw them off the plane. Why? A lot of people don't know still what happened. I was thrown off of a plane. My son was there. Didn't do anything. Didn't even say a word. And they threw him off too. Just guilt by association. Black man standing by. And the CEO, it took them 4 or 5 days, which was why Puff was upset, because he's like, yo, a company that sees social media rising to the level that somebody's being supported in terms of their grievance against your company, you're supposed to respond.
Right.
But there was no response from the CEO or anybody in the company. Finally, I did get a call from the CEO, and we went in for a series of meetings with them, and they have now introduced a 4-point plan. They had not done any diversity training within their company, so they had not been helping their employees to understand that, you know what, you've been here 25 years when the white man was the only person that could be in first class, because that's the only person that can afford it. Today, Black women are like the fastest growing entrepreneurs. And so we sit in first class too. And you have to, so that type of training, a mindset has to be, you have to help your employees with that. And they weren't doing that work. 20 years, they hadn't really been training people the proper way. So all of that is happening. They now have opened up new grievance opportunities for their employees to be able to get grievances out. Because when the situation happened to us, employees were hitting us like, yo, can we start start some type of class act. Like, we are oppressed up in here. And so the employees are now, their voices are being heard. There's a lot more work to be done because I see my sister Amber Phillips. She's a woman who, she's a little bit bigger than me. And she was sitting in the seat next to a white woman who didn't want her to look at her. Your arm is moving too close to me and all this crazy stuff. And they arrested her for assault when she got off the plane. Amber, the black woman, was arrested for nothing.
And didn't she film some of it?
She filmed it,
so
yeah.
she was able to show them.
Exactly.
What was the charge?
Exactly. Well, they said she was
said she
assaulted. They
assaulted.
didn't arrest her. They detained her to get more information because the woman said she was assaulted. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You could train people all you want, but until you actually fire people, like punish them, it's not going to work. So while we did start with training with American, there's still a lot of more work to be done for them to be able to retrain the mind seriously for their employees, and we're committed to that for the long haul.
So that employee does still work at American Airlines?
The one who no one told me that they didn't work there. And you know what? It was a black woman, the first woman was the first person that I had the issue with was a black woman. I ain't looking for black people to lose their jobs. I hope that this situation woke her up to how nasty and disrespectful she is, and how when you are like that and the slave master is standing watching the slaves acting crazy, then they step in and do more harm. So please don't welcome the slave master into situations. I hope she got that message. In terms of the pilot, what I have found, and I'm involved in talks with a lot of different people around the fact that they got rules and laws and all types of stuff that protects them, and it should be, but they're protecting them to a fault because they have just power that is unchecked. And that's a deeper thing that's going to take us a much longer time to work on.
So all this stuff works. The marching, the repost on social media, it all works.
Do it. We have to show people that we're all in this fight together.
It's all phases of when you have marches, you identify allies. You see the people who are going through. You create relationships and you build from that. I hate when people say marching does not. Marching, when people see a mass of people, most of the things that we've got changed start with a march. It doesn't end with the march. No, the march is not going to be the thing that changes the policy. No, but when they see hundreds of thousands and millions of people marching, then they sit there and say, okay, millions of people feel this way. Exactly. Right. And now you give people who understand how to go in with policy power to say, look, you see, we got these millions of people behind us. These are your voters. Now we want to sit down at the table and be able to change policy. So it's a process.
You see how we got this?
It's a process.
You know, on it. That was my project. I'm my project.
I'm sure.
But we appreciate you guys for stopping through and joining us.
For having us.
And May 20th, the march.
I need you to play my song. My mixtape is going to drop Friday.
I got
There
you.
we go.
Yeah.
Gangsta But Woke is dropping
Make sure
Friday.
you text him.
I'm going to text you.
Hold
Hold you to
text
this.
me.
Happy birthday, my son. We appreciate you in the
my brother.
movement.
Thank you.
All right. It's the
for always
Breakfast
supporting
Club.
us.
It's Tamika Mallory and Mysonne.